The traitor could fire, Bikisu moved even faster. He quickly moved forward and severed the tendon in his hand, causing his gun to fall from his grip. Then he tripped him with a foot sweep, causing him to fall. He falls on his back, and in this way the traitor is captured, a voiceover explains. And now a defector has been caught. Section Chief Jang approaches Bikisu. There is terrible anger in his eyes. The voiceover says, Bikisu hates traitors the most, we see. Bikisu throws the traitor against the wall and chokes him. That traitor was also a defector himself, it means. He had compromised the weakest or most vulnerable part of Bikisu, which cannot be forgiven. In the midst of this, when the matter was life and death, the old man Choi Chan-ho swiftly moves forward. He wanted to stop director Ha-sun. It is only when he stops that Lee Sun-min gains control over his actions. He turns and with a tired smile asks Choi Chan-ho, "Can I kill the traitors again?" The scene changes and the voiceover says that the other front was very quiet. Inside a warehouse, the ninth blade was bound. It was Gu-chan. He thought that it was time to eat now. Therefore, he woke up, thinking that he was about to die of hunger. Then Ferris Vizzle puts his head inside. And apologizing to him, he says sorry. "I have absolutely no food." Lee Sun-min didn't know who the other person was, so he becomes cautious. But did he know that the child would take a piece of chocolate cake and share half of it with him? Then he gives the cake to the other person. He feared that half a piece would not be enough. But nothing can be done. "A big portion is for you." Lee Sun-min feels a little scared. How did this child get in? What happened to the guards? But even more important, where are you from? Bikisu wanted to say that he was from North Korea. But suddenly he realizes. He knows that he shouldn't say this. Therefore, while correcting himself, he says to T-sun. As soon as Lee Sun-min hears this, he immediately sees a ray of hope. If T-sun is acting, that means the young master has survived. What happened to the others? Is everything else okay? Ferris Vizzle stops the old man from moving and teases him. "We have sent people to save your friends. So stay calm." The scene changes. Lee Sean's men now feel that everything has gone wrong. Lee Sun-min solved the case quite easily. But still, he was not able to find that person. By luck, he won the jackpots. Finally, he found him, the ace. Seeing this pitiful situation, Lee Sean asks, "Does this old man remember?" "Who are you?" "He doesn't remember." "Then it's very sad." "I still remember. I know that you killed me." Lee Sean pinches the old man's eyelids to wake him up. But in the corner, he didn't notice that behind the eighth, there was a half-moon-shaped sword. He moves forward in a familiar way. Then he attacked Lee Sean. But strangely, Lee Sean seemed not to be there at all. Ran was not worried. This makes him confused. Actually, Lee Sean found all this very disturbing. He could not understand how this blonde-haired man defended against that attack. It turned out that the reason was his body. Even though he was sitting on a chair, his body was far smaller than his memory. That was not a good answer, the Phantom laughs. It shows that even Bikisu could not escape the recent attack. Lee Sean is a little aware of this information. Ran was there, the Phantom spins a knife. And while joking, he asks, "Does the other person know?" The Phantom's fighting style is psychological attack. Psychologically attacking the enemy. The Phantom is attacking his enemy. That is his fighting style. Psychologically attack the enemy to distract their attention. But he was facing Lee Sean, whose deadly style was completely different. Lee continuously attacks while asking the Phantom, "So you are the one who killed him?" Upon hearing this question, the Phantom goes mad with rage. Upon hearing the mention of his achievement of killing Bikisu, he laughs as if celebrating. The scene shifts to an abandoned warehouse area. Here, a young man named Lee Sean is trying to prove himself. He had been abandoned by George. The man who stopped him was a former security guard of George. He warns him, "This is George's property. If you are not one of our people, please go back." But Lee Sean says resignedly. "Step back," he asks, "haven't you heard? I am the director of Hood, Lee Sean." But the guard doesn't care, he says. If they intrude, he will kick first. Before the guard's fist could strike Lee Sean's nose, Lee Sean proves his identity by pulling out a badge. After this, Lee Sean is allowed to enter. Inside, he asks a bound man named Fourth. He asks if he is okay. Fourth does not recognize him. Lee Sean bravely introduces himself. "I am the director of the Who's collection. Tesson has sent me to take you out of here." The scene shifts to another warehouse, where Lee Sean is fighting a professional killer who has received special training. The killer asks Lee Sean, "How do you know Bikisu?" I don't think you look like a thug. Are you a pro? The Phantom wanted to say something else, but Li Shan, warning him, places a knife directly onto his throat. But the killer reacts extremely quickly. His attack was also swift and precise. Moreover, because the Phantom had defeated Biki Su, he was quite arrogant. He felt that Li Shan was leaving the upper part of his body too exposed. He was already extremely cocky before the fight. As a result, he had to endure a straight blow. Fortunately, he escaped just in time. Now he realized that the man was deliberately showing weaknesses to hide his real killing blow. Li also turns around and taunts him. Are you a pro? Finally, the man gets worked up. He goes mad, and he says to Li that he should not die like Bak Lai Su. He moves toward the scene's edge. The work had already been done there. Bak Lai Su was standing outside the door so that the two people inside could speak privately. Choi Chan-ho says he asks 9, where the remaining 9 blood brothers are being held. The 9th finally wakes up and tells his boss that they are all in George's abandoned warehouse. He says that perhaps they are all there. Kang Young-chan tells Choi Chan-ho that his remaining brothers are in George's abandoned warehouse. He says they are probably all there. Upon hearing this, Choi Chan-ho, angry, says to him, there is no reason to cause them any harm, but you don't need to go to save them. Gu-chan, angry, looks at his hands and says, everyone is still safe, he just wants them to live. He says that he works for them. The more Gu-chan talks, the angrier he gets. He shouts, we cannot fight George right now, time is changing. Then Gu-chan stubbornly advises Choi Chan-ho, he says, that in this case Choi Chan-ho should be handed over to the young master and Thiessen to his boss. Before he can finish his point, his teeth and jaw collide with each other. Choi Chan-ho, after saving him, would rather kill him than listen to his nonsense. Whenever he speaks, he gets punched. Continuously in this manner, he speaks in anger. If you have the courage to talk more nonsense, I will tear you to pieces. But even after taking so much beating, Gu-chan stubbornly keeps saying the same. Ilhek is no longer what it once was. Upon hearing this, the car begins to move and rattle. Choi Chan-ho becomes very angry. He cannot speak. He thinks this is the reason you are wrong. He shatters the rear glass of the Lesu car. The voiceover says this is tempered glass, so you should know how strong it is. If you don't remember, then I will remind you. Then he steps forward and grabs Gu-chan's collar. He explains it to him. We fight not to defeat the 9th Blade's brother, but to protect that thing. That which we love. Gu-chan asks with tears, how can we protect it? We can only hang on with this weak fist. When both of them became emotional, the background gang, probably Lee's Anmin, arrived. He comes in quickly. He sits straight in the car, and he starts the engine. Then he suddenly slams on the brakes. Choi Chan-ho feels something. Something has happened, but he is not sure. The passenger in the car announces, we have to go to the warehouse area. The scene changes and we see Lei Shan, who is wearing a hoodie. He is involved in a terrifying battle, the voiceover says. It was Shan's first full performance. The Phantom was now fighting even more seriously, the voiceover explains. He was on complete parity with Li Shan, even slightly better, but Li Shan still held his defense. Li Shan's only problem was that this man is very dangerous. He is no less than a madman. Li Shan had to match his speed. Coincidentally, both move in the same way. In this moment, the Phantom becomes extremely confused, because his opponent could read his moves. To be more accurate, the other person knew what he was about to do. And then he did exactly that. The Phantom played with the wire and Li Shan also played with the wire. Incredibly, he also knew that he had a wire and a backup weapon. As he had guessed, this man was just like him. Therefore, the Phantom launches a full attack to discover. After all, this is the man. He moves. And Li Shan also makes a move. Both were on equal footing, the voiceover mentions this at the end. In plain words, this is someone from the same field. If anyone like him existed, Li Shan would already know all his actions. He knew them so well that he became bored with them. Both had been trained in the same way. Therefore, Li Shan knew each of his attacks so well that he grew tired of them. The voiceover warns Li Shan, saying, don't be arrogant if you were trained later, the voiceover says. Li Shan was also trained just like the Phantom. So he uses the weapon he knows best. It is the one he knows best. And it leaves a sweet wound on the Phantom's body. The voiceover, while taunting, asks, does it hurt? On the contrary, the more the Phantom is beaten, the more his fury rises. He becomes increasingly mad. He brushes away Li Shan's knife. But Li Shan has another knife. The Phantom grabs that knife with his bare hands. Meanwhile, the grappling hook remains in Li Shan's hand, and he attacks the Phantom using his own knife. Li Shan gets stabbed by a knife. His own trick backfires on him. After that, a fishing line tangles around the man's face. The Phantom's madness intensifies as the flowing red blood drips. He seems to enjoy it. The scene shifts to a warehouse. There is a lot of commotion, as if an underground bar had opened. Lee Sun-min signals his companion forth to stay quiet. He feels someone is approaching. They meet another person, the seventh member of the Nine Swords. A bald man tries to wake the seventh member. But the man does not wake up and looks frightened. Nothing seems to have happened, but the truth is discovered. The man was simply sleeping too deeply. He is fine, Fourth asks whether they should remain silent because of the sleeping man. After a vote, they slap the sleeping man to wake him up. They remind him that they must wait for the people at the station to come and rescue them. Just then, a new person arrives there. He is carrying another member of Nine Swords on his shoulder. A young man announces Iron Weasel. He has contacted the commander, and now they need to find a way out of here. Suddenly, a car's bright headlights illuminate the entire night. The light directly falls on Iron Weasel's face, which makes him uncomfortable. A familiar pair of wheat-colored leather shoes comes into view. It seems like they won't be left in peace, and it blocks their paths. This is a rescue operation. The second one is from the Nine Swords. It turns into a leader. The scene returns to the battle with Li Shan. The Phantom twists the knife deeper into Li Shan's wound. This pain brings Li Shan a memory that is 5 years old, a recollection of completing his mission. He was also like the Phantom, who had mastered finishing work in the dark. At that time, they all moved forward like madmen. But Li Shan looked at them with a lowly gaze and cut their wrist tendons directly. Either do nothing to Li Shan or cripple him and take his life. If anyone survived alive, the mission would not be considered complete. It is unknown how many people had hatred in their eyes for him, constantly tormenting him. But Li Shan was completely indifferent to this, the voiceover explains. That at that time Li Shan was extremely indifferent and ruthless. It would not be wrong to say that he was the first generation of phantoms. In the flashback we see, Li Shan goes inside a building and meets a strange person. This man was an attractive golden-haired individual who wore glasses. That man speaks to Li Shan with extreme tranquility. You should have been gentle with them. What need was there for you to be so harsh, young man? Voiceover introduces this man with golden hair. His name was John Ba. He was a double agent working for both North and South Korea. His main profession was smuggling weapons and illegally crossing borders. John Ba asks Li Shan whether he is from North Korea or South Korea. Li Shan goes down the stairs. Isu pulls a gun out of a drawer. And encouraging Li Shan, he says that whatever he says, it doesn't make a difference. That whichever side he is on, then I can satisfy you. But his bullet does not come out of the chamber, the voiceover explains. A harmless fishing line once surrounded him. We see that Isu is tied with a thin wire. He screams because of the pain in his arm. Then Li Shan speaks softly. You, whether you're a spy or a double agent, should take this as a warning. Do your job properly. Don't do anything that crosses the line. Got it now that you've lost a hand? So you should pay attention and understand some things. Here, Li Shan's real alias is revealed. The voiceover says that at that time, Li Shan's nickname was Wrath. He was a member of a top-secret mission group of HID Special Forces. He completes his 11th mission with ease, and then reports. After that, we see Li Shan reporting to his superior chief Zheng via phone. I have only let him lose a hand. Therefore, he is still in decent condition. Upon hearing this, Chief Zheng angrily says, but you didn't understand that you had to kill him. Chief Zheng reminds him to focus on the mission. But Li Shan retorts that the mission was to warn him, not to kill him. Chief Zheng explains that all of this was just paperwork. But when you do the work, you have to do it completely. He adds that to train the Wrath team's captain, he must understand his personality. But it was an important mission. As the leader of the Wrath team, you are familiar with your responsibilities, so from now on you will accomplish the mission in the best possible way. Okay, no, Chief Zheng also mentions that the existence of the Wrath team is a secret. Even high-ranking officials do not know it. Li Shan signals that he has understood. This flashback ends here, and the story returns to the present, focusing on the fight between Li Shan and the Phantom. He asks the Phantom, Do you find this very interesting? Before the Phantom could recover, Li Shan used his leg. He kicked sideways, so that the Phantom would lose his balance. As he was falling, the Phantom kept his eyes open, and clearly saw that his enemy was about to stab him. Therefore, he tried his best to avoid that deadly strike in midair. But he did not know that the dagger had not stopped. It was changing direction without being noticed. And in the final moment, Li Shan's dagger struck the Phantom. The Phantom blocked one of Li Shan's dagger strikes, but Li Shan's knife was changing direction even without being pulled out. The Phantom successfully defended once again and counterattacked, aiming at Li Shan's throat. But at that moment, something strange happened. The Phantom's cold gaze fell on Li Shan's two knives, and his body did not move at all. The Phantom immediately reacted and tried to break free from Li Shan's grasp. But in this attempt, two long, deep wounds appeared on his calves. The narrator says, if there had been a little more delay, his leg would have been amputated. The Phantom is Ran. Where did he come from and how is his skill so terrifying? At that moment, Iron Weasel informs Li Shan that some changes have occurred in this area, and he had to come here immediately. Finally, Li Shan arrives there. He was the first human to defeat the Phantom, the one who had quelled its Marmor's intense enthusiasm. The Phantom wanted to chase him in his injured state, but his legs refused to cooperate. He marches into a large empty warehouse. The scene returns to Iron Weasel. He realizes that the people are causing trouble here. Thus, Ryu T-Yon rushes there quickly. But when he reaches there, then he sees only a small child. Then they see a familiar face behind them. Ha Jin Young becomes sad because of this. He was not even recognized. And now he doesn't joke, he threatens. Now that I am here, don't even think about running away. Not even one of you. Hearing this, Iron Weasel prepares to raise his knife. But someone was even a step faster than Iron Weasel. The enemy's speed was extremely fast. As he blinks, Ryu T-Yon is surrounded by a cluster of thin fishing lines. He didn't expect that a killer would be right behind him. This killer was no one else but Li Shan. He taunts, "You speak too much." Ryu T-Yon reacts at that moment. But the voiceover says, "The jackal in this well was very slow. His neck was already in the enemy's grasp." Li Shan pulled the wire with great force. Ryu T-Yon's life was now caught between death and life. He falls down. He didn't expect a murderer to be right behind him. This murderer was no one else but Li Shan. He delivers a blow saying, "You talk too much." Ryu T-Yon reacts at that moment. But the voiceover says, "This wolf in the well was very slow. His neck had already been handed over to the enemy." Li Shan pulled the wire with great force. Ryu T-Yon's life was now stuck between death and life. Li Shan's voice was sad. "You talk too much. Why do you always like talking so much, you idiot? This habit will kill you," the voiceover says. That Ryu T-Yon had set a trap to ensnare the people of Tisen. But Tisen's strength was beyond expectation. They had professionals. Even the man who was choking him was the leader of the Sands. The end of arrogant people is to lose their lives. Ryu wanted to resist using his fists. But the man he was facing was the captain of the Sands. Li Shan kicks the dog's joints. But he was still very tough. The other thugs wanted to advance. But Li Shan challenged them, saying, "Go ahead and see what happens." Ryu's thugs wanted to advance. But Li Shan challenged them, saying, "Go ahead and see what happens." Li Shan asks Ryu, "Should I tighten the rope a little more?" After that, he turns towards Iron Weasel. And he gives him an order that he should check everyone and quickly take them away. Ha Jin Young, upon seeing this, becomes stunned. How wild Tisen really is. He can't believe that Daelong's boss was captured so easily. He wonders where Tisen finally got that monster from. The rope gets even tighter. Li Shan's voice becomes even stricter. He says to Ryu, giving him a final chance, "If you still want to stay alive, give an order to eliminate those who work under you. Then I will spare your life." But because Lee Sun-min's full attention was on Ryu, he didn't even have time to realize the attack. Suddenly, an unknown person attacks him. Yisu survives the war by luck. The attacker was none other than his trainer, Section Chief Jang. Section Chief Jang asks Yisu if he thought he would slip away like this. Yisu's pupils shrink. To Section Chief Jang, Lee Sun-min's actions were extremely simple and predictable. He delivers a powerful knee strike to Lee Sun-min's back. Lee Sun-min endures the full force of the strike. After that, Section Chief Jang repeats an old proverb. The older the ginger, the spicier it is. He attacks Lee Sun-min's injured part. Section Chief Jang says upon seeing him that he thought Lee Sun-min would still be alive in this manner. He says, I still thought you were alive. I was not wrong. Then he states that the leader of Tisen is Beak Yisu. He says, let him not come here in this matter. Section Chief Jang says while scolding Yisu, if you have taken control of the heart, then you should know how to use it properly. Don't just threat him and let him go, and don't let him run away. Maybe I can show you some of my skills. He looks at the leash again. I have taught you many things. If you want peace of mind, you must eliminate the enemy. You must not give him a chance to counterattack. Okay, right after that, a terrible battle begins. But Ryu moves forward. He wants to attack Lee Sun-min. The voiceover says that this dog was just a frog from a well. Lee Sun-min immediately catches his fist. And then from an inactive position, he successfully knocks Ryu's face to the ground, so that his face can eat dirt. Ryu remains. The man he was facing was not some petty thug. He was the strongest member of the Sand Weapons team. Yisu now wanted to teach this dog some manners. Therefore, a sweet wound is made on his face. One of Ryu's eyes was almost popping out. Then Yisu asks Section Chief Jang, the situation is different now, I will no longer be soft. Section Chief Jang was worn out by this idiot. He thinks that even if this idiot dog dies, he wouldn't care. He silently thinks that even if that idiot dies, he wouldn't care. Then he gives orders to his men. As for the other idiots, go upstairs and arrest the 9 blades. But the people he gave the orders did not move at all. At that moment, Lee Sun-min, who was holding Ryu, smiles mockingly and asks Section Chief Jang, can you order him to do that? It seems that our chief no longer has any power here. Upon hearing this, Lee Sun-min explains to him about the laws of the underworld. He says, do you think the thugs will follow discipline like an army? You are dreaming way too much. Then the voiceover says that those who oppress others to gain power are never respected. Only those who are respected and whom those working under them trust are considered true leaders. Once you enter the underworld, you have to employ the laws of the underworld. Chief, you are very lacking in experience here. Now Section Chief Jang understands that these fools' rules were like this, he thinks. If this fool Ryu dies today, it will be because he was a fool. But he has to save him because there are still many things to ask him. In the end, he makes a decision. He says to Li Shan, forgive him. Assume that you have one today. As far as Director Rai's question is concerned, Section Chief Jang says that he will talk to him later. While the Iron Weasels group exits through the back alley, Li Shan clearly demands he will only release Ryu when he retreats from here. Chief Hwan-ho was not permitted to chase any man. Section Chief Jang's silence meant consent. Li Shan takes that arrogant dog, which was originally taken hostage, with him. He says, you have spoken too many words again. Your mouth hasn't changed yet. Well, see you later, you fool. When Ryu realizes that his neck has become free, so he wants to turn and attack. But the person they were chasing had disappeared into the darkness. He keeps searching for Li Shan and swears that he will not leave Tisen in peace. But before he even tries to kill anyone, he has to deal with Chief Hwan-ho first. Seeing Chief Hwan-ho's face, Ryu realizes he arrived at the right time, and he has to talk to him. A vehicle had already arrived at the warehouse exit. Members of the 9 Blades staggered out. Now they had all gathered, but one member didn't look fine. They were concerned about that other person. Lee Sun-min noticed that his friend Lee Sang-ha was also struggling a little. Eventually, they all safely left from there. Gu-chan, the 9th Blade, was apologizing profusely to the others in the vehicle. He says that all of this is his fault. He says that he is in such a pitiable situation. Yet the director replies. He says that everything is fine. Gu-chan's tears fall. He says that everything is like this because of his foolishness. But another boss says in a weak voice with his little strength. One of them, very weak and injured, speaks. He says this with his little remaining strength. He says that they should apologize to the young master. He says that as long as the young master is safe. Hearing this, Gu-chan, who is their faithful companion, breaks down even more in guilt. He cries and accepts. He acknowledges that this state of the first crane is his own responsibility. He says, how can I ever face them again? At that moment, the weak man explains to him, don't think too much. If something happens, I will speak on your behalf. But the man's words did not align with his actions. He hadn't even seen the young master in his final moments, and then another member of the first crane passes away. Seeing this, Gu-chan completely breaks down. His guilt completely devours him. He says while crying, he says that no matter how much he regrets, it is already too late. Finally, he says, Gu-chan will go with you. The scene changes, and we see Section Chief Jang. He is lighting a cigarette as the voiceover explains. People's lives were merely toys in the hands of those who had power and authority. The voiceover continues to say, Ryu was no exception either, then we see. Section Chief Zheng grabs Ryu's head. He says angrily, it is really making him angry. He goes to the headquarters of the Tisan Association. There, the situation is even more chaotic than before. Here, members of the First Crane were using the Tisan's place to interrogate their traitor Nayan. Beklisu, who looked tired, was listening. He didn't even feel like sitting. The Seventh had lost control. The traitor was being beaten up fiercely. At that moment, the old man, Grandmaster Choi Hwan-ho, tells them to stop. But Choi Hwan-ho speaks with bad intentions. He just couldn't sit quietly. He wants to teach this a lesson. Choi Hwan-ho thinks. He just learned about their actions. The decision of life and death was dependent on the young master. But the Seventh believes. The young master won't be able to raise his hand against this dirty one, the voiceover says. In this whole situation, the person who was the saddest was Sanson. When the Seventh was beating that traitor, Beklisu finally speaks up. He says, we have no opinion in Tisan's matter. This is an internal matter of First Crane. He gives further advice. You should properly resolve this betrayal among your brothers, your companions. You must definitely deal with the question of how severe or lenient the punishment will be, so that such incidents can be prevented in the future. He tells the rest of the people, calm down and don't rush ahead. Important matters can wait. Killing or beating him won't solve anything. It was a common piece of advice and also a private warning. The main point was that they and others had to understand their mistakes. Eventually, Choi Hwan-ho becomes calm. Now it was Lee Sun-min's time to make a decision. He thinks to himself, maybe it's because of me. A leader who has no competence. He did the wrong thing, deceived his brothers. Thinking this, he pulls out a knife. Choi Hwan-ho immediately opposes, and he begs the young master not to say that. But Lee Sun-min ignores Mr. Choi's words. Lee Sun-min disregards the gentle words of his loyal member Mr. Choi. And he moves forward, saying to the traitorous Gu-chan, I don't think you deserve any punishment. I will forgive you for everything. Lee Sun-min becomes angry upon hearing this. Lee Sun-min says while running his hand through his hair. He never found this hairstyle so disturbing. Then he tells the real reason for his apology. I am forgiving you this time not because I am tolerant or kind. I am doing this because I have become aware of my own shortcomings. It was my weakness that killed him, not you. Lee Sun-min takes all the responsibility upon himself like a true leader. He says that in the end, this decision is not his but First Crane's decision. The voiceover explains the depth of this moment. The greatest punishment was not death but forgiveness. Hearing this, the treacherous spy completely falls apart. He shouts loudly, why are you sparing my life? All of this is my mistake. The young master had to know him because of me. For him, this pardon was a punishment worse than death, because now he must live with the burden of guilt. But Lee Sun-min had already changed into a new person. He says this incident has awakened me. And then he makes his first major announcement as a leader. From now on, for the future of First Crane and for us, I will try to learn and do better myself. I will bring First Crane back to its peak as it was in the past. This is the goal for which I must walk this difficult path. I don't want any useless swords. After this announcement, he gives the traitor the final verdict. Therefore, don't hinder us on this path. It is better that you disappear and never show up again. From now on, you are no longer one of the First Crane's 9 swords. I don't want to see a traitor like you on this path. Saying that, Lee Sun-min and the other members of First Crane leave the traitor there and move on. After coming out, Choi Chan-ho signals his men to spread out a little. Lee Sun-min whispers to himself, how pathetic. I can do nothing but babble useless words. I don't think I've ever done anything for First Crane. Sean goes to the roof of a building. Lee Sun-min was feeling sad and wanted to smoke a cigarette but couldn't find his lighter. Then his loyal secretary Sua comes to him. She offers him a lighter. The voiceover says that, to be honest, Lee Sun-min didn't have a lighter because he wasn't in the habit of smoking cigarettes. He wonders how Sua the girl had it. Does she also smoke cigarettes? But then at an unexpected turn, the voiceover reveals the biggest twist. He lights his cigarette. He turns around and asks Sua, did you just call me Lee Sun-min? Lee Sun-min asks his loyal secretary Sua, did you just call me Lee Sun-min? Hearing this, Lee Sun-min pauses for a moment and says it's a long time. I have heard my real names. He continues, expressing his confusion and burden. Lately everyone has been calling me Beak Dukayang. I almost forgot my real name. I have drowned and been dragged into all this. I can no longer escape. The thought of avenging his death has completely taken over my mind. This is causing me confusion. I can no longer behave as my true self. Every action, every word, I am forced to imitate my brother. Every signal, every decision must be approached with caution. What needs to be done, how to do it in the best way. How to do this in the right way. The voiceover explains his difficult situation. Because of so many things, even simple activities like drinking and smoking, he has to resort to using all of them. He thinks if his brother saw him in this condition, he would either accept him or blame him. But Sua thinks they will be happy. You are doing everything for them. Then Sua remembers the real reason she gave him, something she had said. She thinks she is completely sure. He says something like that even though we are twins. How can we be so different? Bikisu hearing this turns towards Sua. Then someone interrupts their conversation in the middle. These were Lee Sun-min and Choi H-wan-ho. Bikisu asks them. He asks whether everything is fine. Lee Sun-min says as he hands back a knife. Director Ha-sen thanks him for the sharp-edged knife. This is the best knife. It is the best knife I have ever seen. In contrast to those old ugly knives. Bikisu thinks that it means that he has resolved the previous matter well. Before that, while discussing the main business, he interjects in the middle and says that he wants to ask a question. He asks, are you collaborating with First Crane? Or are you planning to leverage First Crane? But director Ha-sen refuses to answer the question and says that he will talk about it later. He wanted to confirm one more thing and says, did First Crane also do bad things in Seoul? Police Chief Choi H-wan-ho believes but says, he says it was just in the past. Bikisu asks, so how much money does First Crane earn every day from those bad deeds? Choi H-wan-ho says this is from about 15 years ago, and he can't remember it clearly. He gets confused. What does director Bikisu want to say ultimately? Then Bikisu, looking toward the city, reveals the real plan. First Crane and Tison are both in Seoul. It is not just us who are standing at its peak. Those who are dreaming of it. There are many more gangs. The meaning of the director's remarks regarding Choi H-wan-ho becomes a little clearer. The voiceover says that it does not matter who this is. They should be managed by the government. They rely on power and law to manage everyone. The gang's business is also divided in an orderly and rational manner. We see a blood-stained, broken-down casino or gambling den, which points to the dark business of this whole underworld. The voiceover explains that the government or the people working behind it do everything to control the power of the gangs. Therefore, there have been many bloody cleanup campaigns against those gangs, those who do not obey them. And all of this was a plan made by Section Chief Jang. The name of that plan is Kwansai. Choi H-wan-ho had the courage to guess that the document the current chairman of First Crane received from the chief was this very plan. Lee Sun-min goes to the roof of a building. Bikisu accepts this, it seems so. Lee Sun-min is keeping this secret hidden even from his close associates. Then Choi H-wan-ho asks Bikisu, so Director Beak, I still don't understand what the purpose of this meeting is. On this, Bikisu answers, the purpose is nothing special. He then explains his real purpose. Territory, money, gang fights mean nothing to me. Standing at the top of Seoul is not required. What I have to do is bring that Section Chief Jang down. I must break the plot and prevent him from achieving his purpose, or simply to end his scheme. Ninth Blade guessed that bringing down Section Chief Jang means a lot to Bikisu. Bikisu says he stole my family. He will pay the price for his actions. Then Choi H-wan-ho asks, when you complete your goal, the voiceover explains that Bikisu will step back and leave everything in Seoul to Lee Sun-min to manage. After that, Lee Sun-min says, but first he is a human being who wants to meet you, even though this may not be the right time. His condition is not good, but he really wants to meet you before the meeting so that we can meet you. Bikisu says I will take responsibility for it. That evening, there was also a meeting at Lee Sang-ha's villa. The police chief was there but was a bit confused, he thinks. Why is Lee Sang-ha's villa secured in this way by those who work under Arthwolf? Inside, the person seated was Chief Jang. The subordinate reported that the chief has arrived, and he let them come inside. The old police chief hated this stupid gang, he thinks. How did they have the audacity to behave in such a way with the police? Do they know that I am the chief inspector? These low-level goons are now showing the audacity to reveal their face to me. But Chief Jang ignored them and told them to leave. They know nothing, just act as if he isn't there. Then the police chief sees a new person, Ryu, sitting there. He thinks, so who is he? I have never met him before. I think his name is Ryu. Is that right? No, he looks different from my imagination. He looks quite beautiful and good-looking. Hearing this, the little dog Arju becomes happy upon the compliment. But then Arju gets angry. What are you saying? You always thought that I am useless and ugly. The police chief awkwardly removes his glasses to see clearly. He says that we have many things to discuss. Chief Jang, but before that we have to settle some private matters. Chief Jang drank his tea and said to the police chief, it seems. You are accustomed to the police's methods. Therefore, you are not familiar with the world of gangs. I have told you this many times. How can you forget so quickly? We are just in a business relationship. Just a friend, nothing more. And the police chief in anger fixes his glasses. Chief Jang says while mocking him, we are just in a business relationship. Just a friend, nothing more. Hearing this, Ryu also says to the police chief in an arrogant manner, this is my place, so don't talk nonsense about loyalty or respect. Your rank doesn't matter to me at all. In the midst of this indiscipline, Chief Jang pours alcohol for the police chief. The cold sound of pouring alcohol resonates in that quiet wooden house. Section Chief Jang warns him, I'm reminding you again this time. Don't repeat this next time. Then Section Chief Jang says, now let's talk about business. The scene suddenly changes. While those people were discussing their plot, a funeral home was drenched in sorrow. The atmosphere was extremely serious. Here, Lee Sun-min is seen. He stands in front of his uncle's bones. He is overwhelmed by grief. This grief takes him back to his childhood memories. He remembers. When it was winter and he felt cold, his uncle would pick him up on his shoulders and bring a piece of ice from the roof. Lee Sun-min once asked his uncle if he was the oldest man there. But his uncle said he was the youngest. Lee Sun-min didn't believe it because he was clearly the tallest. Then Uncle Chu jokingly said to calm the child, as people grow older they grow taller. Hearing this, the young Lee Sun-min becomes excited. He says just then another person, Choi Hwan-ho, interrupts and says, even if he grows big, he might not become as tall as Baek Do-kyung. Hearing this, the child Lee Sun-min contests angrily. He says Do-kyung is the tallest. Therefore, he should be the leader, and when he grows up, he will definitely lead everyone. Seeing all this, Choi Chan-ho becomes worried. He also gets angry at the child's actions. But at that time, the first crane was a family. The story returns to the present. Lee Sun-min cries in front of his late uncle's ashes. He says, even though I have grown up now, I am no longer as tall as you. Why did you leave so soon? His heart had already become extremely cold. He asks, did you leave everyone behind? What should I do now? Choi Chan-ho, standing behind him, encourages him to speak. I hope that you can go back like that, child. After this, Lee Sun-min comes out of the funeral home. He intends to pay his respects, but he thinks, it would be better if he gives everyone a bit of personal space. So he doesn't go, he regrets it. Or if I had worked a little faster, things might have been different. Upon hearing this, Choi Chan-ho firmly rejects that thought. Then Lee Sun-min bows his head. And thanks Baek Yi-soo, he says. We are very grateful to you and the Tisan Association. Choi Hwan-ho also says that whatever has happened, First Crane is often grateful to Tisan. Therefore, he doesn't need to blame himself. Lee Sun-min says on this, what happened, no one wanted it. Living and death in the gang world is inevitable. After this, the members of First Crane thank once again. Baek Yi-soo gives a heart pat on his shoulder and frees Lee Sun-min. He says, you don't need to be like this. You're embarrassing me, you're the chairman. Why does the chairman need to bow before us? In the end, Lee Sun-min agrees. And the video ends with Baek Yi-soo advancing as a new confident leader. Both agree to work together. Lee Sun-min says his uncles are probably blessing him from above. At that moment, Baek Yi-soo introduces a new person he brought today. The voiceover explains that whatever happened with the 9 swords had a huge impact. This mess needs someone to clear it up. We see a new bald and extremely tough man. After a few days, Earth Wolf's activities become common. But the scar on Ryu's neck continues to bother him. He explains that if they both fight to the death now, external forces will take advantage of it. The scene moves to a quiet area in Chinatown, where there is a group named Chin Wang, which is rarely mentioned. Even the service staff there are extremely tough people. But today they meet such a guest, who had come without placing an order. He demands to meet the boss, claiming that he is from Tisan. A powerful staff member says to him, "So you are from Tisun. Yes, you are giving this place too much importance. But first endure this attack and then talk." But after displaying his strength for less than 3 seconds, Baek Yi-soo broke that man's arm right there. Baek Yi-soo warns him, "Don't think that I'm speaking softly and acting recklessly. I said I came here to meet someone, not to fight. So why are so many of you here to meet?" In the end, he didn't want to shed blood. But fate didn't allow it. The other thugs become ready to attack him. Then a knife stops them. The only special girl here orders them to move aside. She jumps only 3 steps and instantly attacks the enemy. This man attacked very quickly. In the blink of an eye, her knife had changed. That man prepared a parry. By using the knives, he stopped the knives just in time. The strange word says it all. Changing the direction of the attack while fighting. This is indeed the butter. The subject that people often talk about. He demanded that the enemy be called the Butcher, whose name is Tu-Lan. Baek Yi-soo threatens Sua. If he doesn't stop causing noise, he will be expelled. The voiceover refers to a large conflict here. It erupted in the southwest region of Seoul. It was a terrible battle where a dispute among the city's foreigners was taking place. The arrival of 2 new gangs in this fight further worsened the atmosphere. Amid this chaos, a flower blooms on a battlefield of bloodshed. The name of that gang is Chinwon, Baek Yi-soo understands. This girl is from the same Chinwon gang, and she cannot be underestimated. Tu-Lan says, challenging Baek Yi-soo, "Come and face me, show me your skill." But at that exact moment, someone shouts the name Tu-Lan. She was the real boss of Chinwon who had just returned from a meeting. She doesn't understand what's happening here. She asks, why did Tu-Lan return so quickly? The boss glances at Baek Yi-soo and says, "I want to take his head," she threatens. They want to cause trouble here. They won't be able to run away. But her anger is answered with a strong slap, which is delivered by her own boss. The boss, angry, asks Tu-Lan, "What happened here, Tu-Lan? I'm asking you, or do you want me to hit you with a few more slaps so your mind gets fixed?" Tu-Lan regains her balance. She answers, "This bloodthirsty dog claiming to be from Taeshin. I am looking for you, and as you can see, I am trying to punish him for this attitude." Then the boss's eye falls on an axe placed on the table. She asks, "Is this Human's axe?" Human, out of fear, refuses to answer. The boss gently lifts the axe, and she asks Human, "Did you forget what we did every night to get a good night's sleep? Back then we killed enemies and also made our relatives bleed. You were truly a cold-blooded person at that time. Is that so?" She reminds him of the oath of their organization. The honor gained from this blood revenge cannot be easily broken. Chinwon would rather die than lay down its weapon. Have you forgotten Chinwon's oath? Seeing all this, Baek Yi-soo has to view HWA from a different perspective. Seeing the boss's demeanor, everyone, including Tu-Lan, becomes calm. The atmosphere completely changes, it seems so. The boss is not an ordinary person. After that, Baek Yi-soo jokes to lighten the mood. "Fortunately, I met you. If there had been a little more time, my work would have been finished." Baek Yi-soo immediately goes to the director's bike. He checks if the director is okay. He says that he is fine, but he needs a little time. Then he says, "I came to meet you, Director 2. Now Baek Yi-soo is seated in the office of Selection Option 1. But he still cannot escape her piercing glance. Baek Yi-soo reminds Sean not to be so angry. "That's because you were the one who attacked me first," he says. "This is because you were the one who attacked me first, and I was just defending myself," he adds. She says she was stunned upon hearing this. "This is our misunderstanding. Consider it an apology, okay?" he says. But then she reveals her true feelings. "I cannot lie to myself to be comfortable with people like you," she admits. "So I am wondering whether I should let you go in this case or not," he asks. The voiceover says that his apology makes Baek Yi-soo feel a lot of pressure. Then a new girl with purple hair brings a tea tray. She says that Mr. Baek said he had come to meet her. "But why are you talking to him?" she asks. Then she asks what you would like to discuss. She then says, "I think I know why you have come here. But I want to hear it from you," she says. The girl with purple hair replies that if you already know, she has nothing more to say. And we will get straight to the main point. Baek Yi-soo, with a sly smile, says that there will be a dispute between us and the team. Which side will Choi Chan-ho support? HWA makes her stance clear. "I will not stand on any side," she declares. "I only trust myself," she adds. But Baek Yi-soo is fully convinced that Choi Chan-ho will not side with the winning team. Tu-Lan asks why he thinks that. Then Baek Yi-soo reveals his real plan. Even if Taesun and Daryong clash, Whichever side wins will cause great loss of people and property. So if you attack those factions at that time, you can achieve everything you want. Therefore, I will not let that happen. Hearing this, 2DHWA asks if you want us to side with Teeson, but Baek Yi-soo says he doesn't need her. What I want is for Choi Chan-ho to remain neutral, not take part in this matter, and that Teeson will also not fight you, he says. At that exact moment, Tu-lan puts a knife to her neck. She screams in anger. Mind your tongue and speak carefully, he warns. But her boss tells her to stop. Baek Yi-soo calmly says, I have come here alone to discuss a compromise. Therefore, my intention is not to threaten you, he adds. At least I have come here to make a compromise. So I hope you won't make it difficult for me, otherwise I won't let it go either. Hearing this, 2DHWA becomes even more cautious towards him. After a few seconds, Baek Yi-soo takes out something from his belongings. This is a gift for the leader of Selection 1. Accepting or not accepting it is up to you. It was a ring box. Seeing this, Tu-lan becomes furious and wants to punch him, but Baek Yi-soo says he was just joking. It's just a box. There was a USB drive inside that box. There was a sign on it that was beyond comprehension. Baek Yi-soo explains, this is the cause of everything, and it is also the reason why I must destroy Daelong. Now I will tell you the reason why you should support Teeson. Which side will Tu-dova choose finally? After this meeting, the boss of Teeson calmly walks away from there. Tu-lan asks 2DHWA what her plan is, but she had not decided yet. Boss 2DHWA was looking out the window, but she was still uncertain about what to do. At that moment, her most loyal member, Tu-lan, approaches her, and she says, you are the leader. You must make a decision so that we can follow it. On hearing this, 2DHWA's voice begins to tremble. She says, this is why I told you that I really cannot assume the role of a leader. I am very afraid of deaths. Tears well up in his eyes. Tu-lan goes to his side, and encouraging him, she says, you are crying again. You did a very good job today. At hearing this, 2DHWA cannot hold herself back. She goes into Tu-lan's arms and begins to cry bitterly. Because Baek Du-kyung's face was very frightening. Tu-lan tells her, you should have been a leader. Even though a little time has passed, this would definitely be better. A loud thump echoes in the room. Tu-lan punched 2DHWA in anger so that she would come to her senses. She screams, are you kidding? I am a leader, should I tell you this right now? Tu-lan becomes even calmer, she says. Look, everyone is ready with weapons. Now there will be no agreements or negotiations. There will only be bloodshed, that's the reason. That we need a trustworthy leader. Even Schumann has taken up arms. Now even the oath of Selection 1 is shaking. Upon hearing this, Tu-lan brings tissue paper to wipe his tears, and gives him advice. No one has ever broken their oaths. He stands against that person who had come to meet you. He is doing all this just to protect you, your leader, and your comrades. It doesn't matter whether you are weak or strong, what is the problem? If the boss is a little weak, leave the fight to me. You just have to stay behind me and cry. Or whatever you want to do, do it. Upon hearing this, 2DHWA became even more depressed and started crying. Choi Hwan-ho closed his doors. Inside, some of their members were drinking alcohol and discussing that man from Teeson who had come to create trouble there. Schumann advises them not to joke and to be careful. The hunting dogs are everywhere here. But before he can finish speaking, a vehicle speeds straight into the shop. Amid the turmoil, Schumann asks his friend sitting next to him whether he is okay. Then a man wearing a mask comes inside. He says he is fine. But what is this? There are more vehicles outside. It was parked. Schumann moves forward. He asks them whether they have a reservation. In response, the people form an angry mob. People from Group 1 were already angry. Therefore, it was like a dam breaking. One man raises an axe and attacks. He lifts his axe. Then he turns around and attacks with the same axe. Had it not happened, that man's head would surely have been cut off. The voiceover says that there are always unknown incidents. An unknown man suddenly receives a punch. He falls to the ground. An unknown man wearing a mask suddenly gets hit with a punch. He is thrown several meters away. After that, we see Ha Jin-young speaking into his earpiece. It seems he is calibrating the technology. After some time, he finally hears what is being said on the earpiece. He reports that he has arrived at Chinwon and that many guests are here. He is asked if he is from Teeson. He says he has 3 Teeson badges. Then we see a man in a new suit sitting comfortably. The voiceover says that the operative wants a badge. More people wearing masks appear on the street. Then Sua says to a liar that she doesn't need a badge. She will clear out these fake test subjects. Upon hearing this, Ha Jin-young also gets ready to fight. He says, let's see how powerful these fake people are. In the end, we see a mask-wearing girl sitting, tired and defeated on a chair. The voiceover says that spending a day in peace is impossible. Boss Studio asks its loyal member Tu Lan, has anyone made a move? Tu Lan's face turns black with anger, she says. As expected, those 23 cannot be trusted. She regrets, I should have killed him at that very moment. Why did I stop you and let him live? But Tu Du Hwa reminds him that Tison was the one who helped them when things were getting out of control. Therefore, they cannot suspect Tison of everything. She says, look, all this is fake. Tison has no reason to work so foolishly. She further says that those who want to cooperate with her are welcome. She is the only one selected and explains. When the attackers launched the assault, they wore badges and kept claiming to be members of the Tison Association. Then Tu Du Hwa raises the real question, if anyone wants to. If we doubt the Tison Association, isn't it a good opportunity? She arrives at this conclusion. This is the best opportunity. Here the voiceover reveals the real plan. They deliberately performed this drama, demonstrating that someone wants to take advantage of this situation. Then they staged a rescue to gain even greater trust from the Tison Association. This plan is very clear. They are just dirty people. They are skilled at acting. After learning the truth, Tu Lan's voice becomes even colder. She says, just let me deal with those people, everything will be over. But Tu Du Hwa says, this case cannot be resolved so quickly. I am also thinking again. Then Tu Lan says, now the important thing is not to find out the truth. Our Tison Association's honor is being greatly damaged. We must regain our honor. Upon hearing this, Tu Du Hwa upset asks, so what should we do now? What are your thoughts, says another woman. I am waiting for your orders. The leader was the main problem, Tu Du Hwa says. If the leader is wavering, then whose voice will we listen to? She was tired and wanted to think more. She suggests seeking help from Hong Hao. Upon hearing this name, Tu Lan becomes uncomfortable. She says angrily, why are you bringing in Hong Hao in this matter? Remember, our leader is you, not Hong Hao. Finally, Tu Du Hwa loses control and screams, I was just trying to ask for help. Why are you so angry with me now? Tu Du Hwa screams angrily at Tu Lan. Why are you getting angry with me now? Hearing this, Tu Lan pulls out a knife. She drives it forcefully onto the table as a warning. She warns her boss. He investigates the traces left behind. He finds some daggers and notices them. These daggers are all old knives. They have worn down due to prolonged use. Could these be the same knives that he uses every day? These are just ordinary knives. They can be found anywhere. They don't seem to be military weapons. He is not the subordinate of the department head Zhang. After that, he opens the car's glove compartment. He then finds something unexpected. An RMB note falls in front of him. Upon seeing this, he thinks. Baek Yisu calmly disconnects the call. Suddenly, an unknown person appears there. The man immediately apologizes to Baek Yisu to avoid startling him. He says, because I saw that you looked very busy. I just wanted to smoke a cigarette. To say all this, but Baek Yisu did not know who this person was. The man introduces himself, my name is Hong Hao. I work at the nearby foreign exchange counter. Baek Yisu also calmly introduces himself while assessing the man. Hong Hao clearly steps on the broken glass, but it makes no sound. When he finds out that Baek Yisu is a member of the Tison Association, Hong Hao bows with respect and salutes him again. Baek Yisu tells him not to do that, because it makes him feel uncomfortable. The easiest way to start a relationship is with a cigarette. After taking a puff, Hong Hao asks. He wonders what Baek Yisu is doing here. Baek Yisu honestly tells him that some people were pretending to be Tison members and causing trouble here. Therefore, he is investigating. Upon hearing this, Hong Hao seems quite angry that the troublemakers here were fake Tison people. Lee Sun Min says it's exactly like that, because this was very inappropriate. I came here immediately, but you use a lot of honorific words when you speak. Upon hearing this, Hong Hao bows again. He then apologizes. Hong Hao bows to him and apologizes. Hong Hao is not very proficient in the Korean language. Therefore, his words sometimes sound odd. Lee Sun Min asks him. When he is asked why he came here, Hong Hao explains. Because I work at the nearby money exchange. I am quite free. Therefore, our boss asked me to come here to check, look around and clean this place. Upon hearing this, Bikisu thinks that perhaps this is a man from Tudavova who has come to do cleaning. Hong Hao says to Bikisu that he can comfortably carry out his investigation, while he will clean the tables and chairs. Meanwhile, Bikisu sends a message to Lee Sun Min on his phone, in which he asks about a person named Hong Hao. Then Hong Hao suddenly asks a strange question to Bikisu. He says that he has heard that Baek Do Kyung has changed his cigarette brand. Then Hong Hao explains that due to his job, he hears many rumors. He says, I have heard that you, Baek Do Kyung, returned 5 years ago from Japan as the CEO of Gumiadama, and the cigarettes you smoke. He has only one type of cigarette, Marlboro Red Premium. Upon hearing this, Lee Sun Min laughs loudly and says it's just a cigarette. If I like it, I will change it. But Hong Hao does not let this go. He points to his biggest mistake. If that's the case, how is it that you don't even know that your gyroscope is dry? You really seem like a person who has recently started smoking cigarettes. It was a clear challenge that was questioning his true identity. Hearing this, Lee Sun Min gets embarrassed and makes an excuse that he was perhaps so absorbed in listening to the phone that he didn't notice. The voiceover says that everyone makes such mistakes. But just then, Bikisu notices that Hong Hao has just picked up a sharp-edged broken piece of glass from the ground. Bikisu asks him, "What did you just put in your pockets? Can you show me?" Upon hearing this, Bikisu's facial expression immediately turns stern. The voiceover says Bikisu immediately tightens the rope. The next moment, Hong Hao attacks him. The scene shifts to a parking lot. Here, Lee Sun Min steps out of his car. Choi Hwan Ho advises him to take a little rest and says that he still does not have the habit of calling him chairman in this way. Then Lee Sang-ha gets off the vehicle and delivers director Ha San's message to Choi Chan-ho. He asks, do you know anything about a man named Hong Hao? Or have you ever heard about him? Hearing this, Choi Chan-ho seems to recognize the name. He explains